quick disclaimer, I'm not an influencer, I'm not a professional YouTuber, so no one paid for this, okay? This is my opinion, this is my story, and no one paid me to speak the way I'm gonna speak, or to say the thing I'm gonna say. And second disclaimer, my cat is way too cute. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. Doesn't want to say hello. So, I was in Antarctica, which by the way was amazing. It was insane. One of the best trip of my life, let's be honest. I went firstly to Argentina, and then I went to Antarctica from Argentina. So like visited Buenos Aires, and then from Buenos Aires, I went to Ushuaia, and from Ushuaia I went to Antarctica, and it was amazing. The whole trip was insane, and everything was nice, and the experience I've done there was insane. I mean, I literally drank a 6,000 years old ice cube, which we found next to an iceberg, and I didn't transform into a zombie, which by itself is an exploit, or an achievement. I think that's the best word. And then on the way back, we're in the boat, crossing back to Ushuaia. We just finished going through the Drake Passage, and the war started. And obviously the news that airspace are closing, and seeing all the flights being cancelled one by one. And the thing is, at that moment, I knew I wanted to come back. The moment I saw that the airspace was closed is the moment I told myself, I need to come back now. I need to go back to Dubai. I need to go back to the UAE. If the situation did not start, I would have been like, fine, staying a little bit more in Argentina and traveling a little more, maybe go to LA, maybe go there and that. But because I knew that the airspace was closed and that the country was going through something, I felt inside me the urge of going back, because home is home. And to me, this place is home for many reasons, which I'm gonna iterate a little bit later. But to me, this is home. And I felt unsafe and uneasy and unhappy being anywhere else than at home. And so I became obsessed with the idea of getting back home. Keep in mind, the war just started, so the situation is there and nothing is organized yet. Like, there's no plan yet, you know, like it came out of nowhere. So no one is like really, people knew that the strike will happen because obviously, you know, it was pretty obvious with all the American assets in the area, and the public rhetoric, but like the countries were not ready yet, you know, for the airspace close and things like that. Like, it was complicated because I'm in Argentina. I mean, I'm on the boat, sorry. I'm still going to Argentina at that point. And I'm texting everyone. I want to go back to Dubai. Do you know how to get back to Dubai? I need to go back to the UAE. And then, and this is why I love this country, the UAE embassy of Buenos Aires texts me, 6:30 a.m. We just arrived in Ushuaia. I wake up in the morning. It was 7 a.m. for me. We just docked in Ushuaia. Take my phone. I check my WhatsApp. 6:30 a.m. A guy from the UAE embassy of Buenos Aires is texting me and telling me, what do you need? What's up? We're here for you. And from there start, you know, a long, very weird, I want to go back to Dubai kind of quest from Antarctica. I don't want to see penguin anymore. I want to see sand dunes. So, I had to fight with the airline. And by the way, I was flying with ITA Airways. And let me tell you, those guys are the worst. If you travel with ITA Airways ever in life, just don't. Because what happened is, I had paid for a travel from UAE to Buenos Aires with a layover in Rome, and then back. So Buenos Aires to Rome to UAE. Obviously, when the situation started, the ITA Airways, they canceled the ticket. Now, the thing is, they canceled the ticket, and then I called them, and it's already like a freaking fight in order to reach someone at ITA Airways. And basically, they're telling me, yeah, no, you, because I'm like, okay, can I just take the plane to Rome from my ticket, and then I want to go to Dubai because anyway the plane is cancelled, right? Like, but can I at least go to Rome? And they're like, no, you have to buy the whole ticket back. I was like, how much is it? It's like, oh, it's basically the same full price and the whole trip. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay the whole trip again for doing half of it. What are you talking about? I did at the end. I did do that because I had no choice. They literally scammed me. They literally, those guys scammed the hell out of me. And the thing is, they know they can do it, because why not? Like, what I'm gonna do, I need to go to Rome at that moment because it's like, okay, that's the next place on the trip. And it's also a best way for me to get closer to Dubai. At that moment, another way was Istanbul in Turkey. But because Iran was attacking Cyprus, the chances of the Turkish airspace, the South Turkish airspace to close were very high. So I was like, I'm not gonna take the chances And I know Rome. I don't know Turkey. So, like, I'm already trying my best to go back to the UAE. I don't want to add some additional, like, sensory overload, to myself. And so I flew to Rome. Now in Rome, it reminded me exactly why I wanted to go back to the UAE. It didn't take me long. As soon as we landed, as soon as we went into the city, and actually from the airport, I already got yelled at by some dude that I had to yell again at because the guy was so disrespectful. Like, I cannot even tell you how disrespectful he was. And it was an airport employee, which is even crazier, like I'm not gonna get into details, but for like people who know me, they know like I'm quite peaceful and I'm always respecting and respectful towards people. Like, and you need to be very disrespectful toward me or the people with me for me to get angry. And I got angry. So that tells you. So like the first literally few minutes of me in Rome, this happened. And then you go in the city and it smelled like pee and it's freaking like 1 p.m. and there is garbage truck like going around the city making shit tons of noise and the smell, and like every time you go somewhere there is like some illegal immigrants coming and try to sell you something or beg you for money, and like what the hell, like what the hell is this, like and I mean, anyway, this reminded me, okay, I need to go back to Dubai. I need to go back to civilization. I need to go back to a place where people are respectful and there is no pee smell everywhere and things like that. So it gave me even more the feeling, the need of getting back. And at the moment, obviously, I don't have a ticket back home. I don't have a ticket back to the UAE, and I'm calling the embassy, and I'm calling Emirates, and I'm calling this and that, and I'm calling the Golden Visa Repatriation Program, and I'm calling everyone, and they're like, dude, like the airspace is closed. What do you want us to do? There's nothing we can do for you. You have to wait. I'm like, I cannot wait. I need to go back. Like, I was probably one of the only one who was calling us like, let me go home. So anyway, as usual, the embassy actually got super helpful, and we figured out a plan where I go to Oman. I land in Oman, and then from Oman I go to the UAE. And this is what I did. So I flew with Oman Air. You need to understand that, at the end of the day, the situation is something that a lot of people never lived. And so my relative, knowing I'm literally flying to a potential war zone, right, are a little bit scared. So when I'm booking the ticket with Oman Air, I'm asking them, hey, do you guys have Wi-Fi? I was like, yeah, the plane will have Wi-Fi and things like that. So I'm like, okay, so I don't need to text people like extensively and whatever. Just gonna take the plane, and then from the plane I can text. Turn on the plane, didn't have Wi-Fi. It was a 6-7 hours flight. So for 6-7 hours, I didn't have way to tell anything to anyone. So obviously not great. And I also had like normally a VIP transfer that was supposed to take me from the plane to the border. That didn't happen either. And instead I ended up being questioned by Oman because of my affiliation to Israel. And by the way, this was a crazy questioning. Okay. So from VIP transfer, I went to being, sitting at the border control, and the guy literally started the questioning by between Israel and Palestine, who is right? Dude, it's like 6 a.m. in the morning. You want to have a political debate? Let's have a coffee together. But like, why are you annoying me at the border right now at 6 a.m. when you clearly know I have my Emirates ID, I have my passport, I have everything with me, and I'm telling you I want to go back home. I'm just crossing your country for 4 hours, the time to drive. Why are you bothering me with a question that what do you want me to answer, Evan? Like, do we want to just like go on an interview, whatever? And so the questioning went on for like 30 minutes, and he ended up by advising me not to go back to Israel. I know that any anti-Israeli or whatever that's watching this video is gonna be very happy, but I need you to understand that it's not a normal way to conduct yourself at the border, especially when you have people who are coming back home. And my passport is not even an Israeli passport. It's a Belgian passport. It has nothing to do with Israel. There's not even a mention of Israel. So I don't even know how the guy knew that I have some affiliation with Israel. And it was pretty nuts. It was pretty nuts. And like I had a crazy flight. I had a crazy last few days in order to get back there, to get back to the UAE. And my brain was not fully, it was foggy. It was not fully functional. So obviously, to me, the whole thing was like, what the hell? What the hell, dude? I didn't know what to answer. And so no VIP transfer, get questioned for no reason. And then I go to the Oman border. I find a taxi. Sorry, I find a taxi, and then the taxi I had to pay like $400, $500 for me to get dropped at the border. Now, this is where the UAE is the UAE. They followed the whole travel with me. I had constantly someone from the UAE advising me on what to do and helping me out. I mean, not at the border control, because obviously they don't have control over that, but telling me, okay. And so when I told them, look, I don't have the VIP transfer, I'm now in a taxi. And then from the taxi had to drop me. I never crossed the border, so I didn't know, but the taxi had to drop me at a bus, and the bus took me to the other side of the border, to the UAE side of the border. By the way, the border crossing was also painful on the Omani side, very whatever. And basically what happened there is that the UAE is telling my driver who is waiting for me on the UAE side, tell us the bus number and we'll take care of it. And so I give the bus number to my driver, and I kid you not, there is a Dubai police, UAE police. I mean, it's in Atas, so it's Dubai police. They stopped the bus. My car came next to the bus. The police officers entered the bus, which was very empty, by the way. And they took me, stamped my passport, shake my hand, welcome back home, take your car and go. Literally, that's what they said. Welcome back home, take your car and go. With a smile, I laughed. I was super happy. I went to my car. They opened the gate, gone. And I was back in Dubai. And that's the very big difference. You know, this is the big difference between, like, I landed in Oman, and instead of being in any way, shape or form empathic to the situation people are living in, they pull this kind of crazy stunt of like, oh, like, what the hell is this questioning? And then you arrive in Dubai, and it's just like, welcome back home, dude. Welcome back home. Welcome home. Come. And that's such a different vibe. That's such a different vibe. So now the question is, why did I want to come back to Dubai so much? What makes me want to be in the UAE, closer to where the action is going on, because we're very close to Iran here, in this period? And I'm gonna tell you, just like the example I gave with Rome, they should be telling by themselves. But look, I think especially now when everyone is like dunking on Dubai and the UAE for whatever reasons they find, it's important to say the truth about the UAE. It's important to say the truth about the UAE. And yeah, it's easy to find negative points about something. Okay, it's very easy. And so you found a negative point about the UAE, good job, and you can dunk on it as much as you want. That's fine. But the reality is there is much more positive point about the UAE, okay? And I'm talking as someone who is not a heavy investor in the UAE. I have one house, one car, and one phone number. So I don't have many investment at all in the UAE, and my house is where I live, so I'm not looking to sell. My car is the car I use, so I'm not looking to sell, and my phone number is the phone numbers I use, so I'm not looking to sell. So I'm not talking with the investor feeling of like, oh my god, I need the price to go up. I'm not talking as like, I don't know. I'm talking as a human being who flew here 6 years ago, okay, and realized that this place is one of the best country I lived in. I lived in many countries. I grew up in Belgium. I lived in France. I lived in Spain. In Spain, not in space. I lived in Spain. I lived in Italy. I lived in the UK. I lived in Israel. I lived everywhere. I've been like every freaking Romania. I've really been everywhere. And the UAE is one of the only country. And again, I'm Jewish, right? So that's not something I like normally people say. The UAE is home. More than, like, I feel more home here than in Israel. And that's huge. That's a huge feeling. Like, it's for non-Jews, like people who you know, like I don't expect you to understand that sentence unless you're Jewish, because it's a very weird sentence. But I feel more home here, and that's mainly because, you know, people perceive Dubai and the UAE for all like the stuff they see online, like the bling bling, the towers, but they don't see this. You know, this is more the real Dubai. When I landed here, I had like a lot of bias. I had a lot of, 6 years ago, a lot of bias about the place. I didn't know where I was going. I was afraid. I was like, oh my God. And the moment I met my first Emiratis, the moment I first connected with the local culture, it's when I understood. Those guys understand all. Those guys, this country is exactly what every country needs to be. It has a vision. It has a culture. It has a identity. It has law and order, which is very important. It has a It has tolerance. It has many things that makes the country strong. And the culture and identity is like part of it, you know, like people goes and goes and like, oh my God, the UAE doesn't have history. The UAE has a lot of history, you know. It's very funny to me because like many conversations I have with people, they're like, oh, you know, the UAE doesn't have history. There is no culture. There is no like, and then they go on and then we speak about the royal family, for example. It's like, yeah, you know, it's connected to Qatar. Like, okay, so you just told me there is no history and now you're telling me there is a connection to Qatar. Did you dig into that? Do you know like the crazy stuff? How Sheikh Zayed like took care of the place as well? Like the unification of the Emirates, like all of this is whole story. The challenge they had economically, the pivot from pearl to oil to tourism for Dubai, or like do you any of that search? No, it's like there is tons of history. So yeah, there is not like 5,000 museum like in Paris where you can see painting. Okay, cool. But there is still strong stuff, and those strong stuff is living with every Emirati, and you can feel it, and you can feel proudness in every steps they take from the leadership positions to the normal kind of normal people. Okay, and you feel it. And to me, obviously everyone is different. Some people might not like that, but for me, knowing I live in a place that know what it is, with people who know who they are, that matters so much to me. And so obviously you have like a lot of kind of bad people in the UAE. You have like, yes, you have like really like, okay, cool. You have like bad profiles, like everyone, like, you know, you go to Hollywood, you're gonna find like Hollywood kind of scammy vibes. You go to Miami, you're gonna have Miami scammy vibe. And you come to Dubai, you come to the UAE, you're gonna have some scammers, you're gonna have some people. And those people are the noise, right? But they also the fireflies. It's like if they see a light and the light is beautiful, and if you look around the light, you're gonna see all those fireflies like flying around. Those guys are the fireflies. They see opportunity, they see things that they can leverage, they go there and they are the one who make the most noise, the most like. But if you go closer and you pass all those fireflies layers, you get to the light, and the light is very beautiful and it's doing its job. Well, this is exactly what it is. So that's the reason I came back to Dubai, because I don't have any other single country in every country I live where I feel the way I feel. And I know deep down that I knew, and I was right, by the way, deep down that I'm safer here. I'm safer here. I mean, statistically, the chance that a missile fall on me or debris fall on me is way less than me being stabbed in Rome or stolen in Rome or live something that will shake me to the core. I know that here, if I go out, no one is going to put drugs in my glass. I know that here, if I walk at night or during the day in a park or in a street or somewhere, I'm not going to be shagged or stabbed or whatever. I know that I'm not going to be threatened by some rando. I know that, you know, like a lot of things. So like statistically, yeah, okay, there is some alerts, there is some missiles. Like, okay, cool. You know, there is a war, and so obviously you have like some consequences of that war. But in the broader sense of things, there is also way less chances of leaving something bad here. And you're also surrounded by people who care. And so that's pretty much it. That was my explanation of why I came back to Dubai from Antarctica. And by the way, I have to tell you, going from witnessing penguin to witnessing Shahid drones within a week, insane. I'll end up with that. Have a good day. See you.